Welcome to the debate. Today we're looking at something called analytical power. Our source material defines this pretty clearly, making the fastest decisions, shortest time, best possible outcomes. And it connects this power directly to how we use, sequentially, both the left and right sides of our brain.
Right, the hemispheres. The material lays out distinct functions and this idea of a sequence in how information gets processed.
Exactly. So the question we're tackling is this. Is real analytical power mainly driven by the left hemisphere, the sequential logic, the organization, or is it fundamentally shaped by that initial holistic input from the right hemisphere, which the source says you cannot bypass? I'll be arguing for the primacy of the left hemisphere and getting those optimal results.
And I'll be taking the other side. While the left hemisphere definitely structures the final analysis, I maintain that the right hemisphere provides the essential, non-negotiable foundation. If that first take is flawed, well, the left hemisphere's work might be built on sand.
Okay, so my position. Analytical power, as defined, demands measurable efficiency and accuracy for, say, organizational success. The left hemisphere, the LH, is the engine for that. It handles time, it follows structured logic, processes data step by step. It's the LH that moves you beyond just a general feeling like liking the look of a watch to the necessary logical conclusion. It does this by analyzing the details, the weight, specific features, maybe the strap quality. That superior organized outcome is the measure of analytical power.
Focusing purely on the outcome is interesting, but the sequence described is the foundation, isn't it? You simply cannot bypass the right hemisphere, the RH. All information hits there first. It does a sort of preliminary analysis, right? It generates that first emotional or intuitive hit and links concepts together simultaneously, like getting the overall feel of that clothing gallery example, the whole environment at once. The material warns that if we don't consciously engage with and frankly challenge this RH foundation, and remember, 80% of people apparently rely mostly on it, we're easily exploited. Those business hunters target the focus on immediate pleasure, the superficial stuff, making people overlook critical, organized details.
I absolutely acknowledge the RH is the sensory gateway, but organization dictates effectiveness, surely? The source describes the RH as processing as, well, free and playful. It lacks a sense of time, linear control, often leading to impulsive actions. Just observing something, like seeing an accident, that's RH territory, but it's analytically inert on its own. True analytical power needs the planning, the organization, the time management that are exclusive to the LH. Moving from just seeing the accident to actually calling emergency services or planning how to prevent future ones, that's the LH difference.
Okay, but I wouldn't call the RH's initial processing inert or just playful in a dismissive way. The RH does the critical relational linking first. The initial comparison between two similar things, like the two watches the seller shows you. It sends that comparison, that relational result, not just raw data, over to the LH. So if the quality of the LH's final analysis depends entirely on the quality of that initial comparison done by the RH, well, isn't the real power residing in the part that sets the initial quality standard, the RH, rather than just the part that organizes it later?
Precision, though. Precision is how you combat the kind of exploitation you mentioned earlier. The LH's focus on words, symbols, numbers. Its attention to detail, looking at the content over just the delivery style. These are the specific tools needed to cut through the superficiality the RH might fall for. This detail orientation, structuring data in a highly organized way after examining the parts, that's what separates real analysis from just, basic pattern recognition.
Right. Precision is vital, I agree, but you need context to even know where to apply that precision. The RH provides that essential overall framework. Perceiving the entire collection, recognizing similar beauty first, that holistic understanding gives the LH its agenda, its structure. Without it, the LH is just processing details in a vacuum. The initial emotional and contextual frame from the RH dictates what information the LH needs to structure and prioritize. You could say the RH builds the frame, the LH just nails the pieces together logically within it.
So for me, it comes back to the definition. The definitive measure of analytical power is transforming that input, wherever it starts, into organized, time-managed logical conclusions, using sequential thought, words, numbers. That successful outcome, that actionable result, rests primarily in the left hemisphere's capacity.
And yet, I'd argue that analytical power is ultimately a consequence of properly leveraging the non-bypassable primary functions of the right hemisphere, handling all that initial sensory input, doing the first relational linking, and then, yes, consciously connecting that quality input to the left hemisphere's logical structuring. It's a two-part process, but the start is foundational.
Well, what this really highlights is that mastering analytical power isn't simple. It clearly depends on understanding the distinct roles, the separate criteria of each hemisphere.
Absolutely. We need to account for both that non-negotiable starting point and the organized finish. It shows there's still significant room to explore which stage truly holds the ultimate key to making the best decisions.